you don't know who I am, but in my mind, you're perceptive enough to know who I'm walking around with, who I'm talking to. Like artists, people, we hang out with other artists, and if we know who they are, and they know who he is, and I'm like, I don't know why he's letting me do this, but thank you, I really, really do. My daughter is here, she's 23, she'll be 24 next month.
So true.
And the last time I had a show at all of any kind was the month that she was born. And that's where that art ended. Sorry, I guess I just put it all away and just went after being a dad. So since then, I've been writing novels because it felt easier to do. I don't know how it's easy, it's not. I do have my novel series here, book 1 and book 2, and they definitely inspired the work. The book 1 is red, book 2 is green, and book 2, which will come out next year, will be blue. And so the red, green, and blue has always been kind of embedded. And if you had a chance to read the artist's kind of statement on the wall, ultimately, every moment I could get in front of a television as a kid, I took it. I spent a lot of time watching TV, movies, anything that was in reruns from Hogan's Heroes, The Facts of Life, to whatever was on at the time, and playing video games, the Atari 2600, which I've learned recently had been named for a move in the game called Go. And so Go, which I brought out today, is the longest continuously played board game in the world that hasn't changed in over 3,000 years. And whenever you are about to be captured, kind of like in chess, you would say check. In Go, you won't actually say it, you're just in Atari. You are now about to be captured. You are in Atari. And I thought, whoa, how did I not know this? I love language and I love how things connect. And it's been really, really fun to, I've been teaching students, I teach now. And so when kids get done with class or they're not really focused, I'm like we're gonna play a game. They have no idea what it is. Most American kids do not, and they either figure it out or they don't. But some of them are very, very good, very, very fast. And it's really fun to watch. So, based off of the red, green, and blue, again, if you paid attention, I did put some words up on there. The red is our physical world. It's where we're at right now. Currently, it is information everything. So if you are seeking money, wisdom, knowledge, fame, how to live tomorrow, pay the bills, all of that is information. Everything is connected to that, and I think our desire for it is larger than it needs to be. Go America. We are awesome at trying to get more, and I wanted to make sure that was something that is expressed in red. So you'll see astronauts in space with gold, spaceships, because in my mind, those things do connect with technology and they're pushing forward and gaining more information, and eventually it does connect us to higher levels of information. Oh, maybe we'll say AI, though not that I actually really love the idea of artificial intelligence. I'm not scared of it yet. I know some of us are. And my third novel that I'm writing, the one that will be blue, it's bigger than artificial intelligence. There's stuff out there that is living and alive that I think has a soul and a spirit. And when we start looking at the blue, which is the coffee mug, someone asked, why a coffee mug? It was the thing that made the most sense to me. I don't drink caffeine. I don't like coffee. I've never had it ever. But billions of people on the planet have. They all come together and they enjoy life around it. It becomes so embedded. It is spiritual, I think, to them. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy into this idea that people love. And I think it is a place where we can find peace, rest, harmony, joy. It is, so the blue is our spirit realm. And in theory, in my version of blue, there is no evil. It is the right kind of spirit. So these are the original three set that I made. And so when you look at the rest of the artwork, they were built off of this platform. So these were all printed. Come on in, guys. I got the chairs for you. And when they were printed in a small format, a medium-sized format, and a large format. And then I went in and repainted over the top of them and used them as my blanks, essentially. And so these were all done in August to December of last year. And I wanted to use them as like sketches, so I could figure out what it is that where I was going. Or this process, right? Just a process, trying to figure it out. If you see what I actually pulled from that in the other pieces, you'll see the goddess Athena showing up again in the large format piece and done in a much more spectacular way than over here. You'll see graffiti aspects in the words, the design of the work, and then you'll see it in the red piece over here. And so the poppies are showing up. Someone asked why orange poppies on a blue painting, and we know artists know color theory well enough that blue and orange are perfect together, and it really is calming, and a lot of people love the idea of the coffee mug and the poppies, so I'm stuck with that. So information, spirit, and then the place that, if we dare go, which is misunderstood and probably won't be understood ever, is our quantum realm. So we start thinking about quantum ideas and quantum mechanics super far over even my head, even though I've studied it well enough to know that there really isn't time. Time doesn't work the same way there. It's odd, it's different. You can, I think that you can find both spirit and knowledge, wisdom passing through this and using it as a bridge. And now that we're getting information, if you were to fall asleep at night, I know I mentioned it on a card over there, if you fall asleep at night and you have a dream, and I can ask you this, if you've ever woken up and that dream actually took place, you might call it deja vu, and you might say, what was that? I wonder why that happened. Science currently is looking at the brain and looking at quantum, and they're recognizing that there potentially is correlation in the fact that our brain can move into quantum states. And if you can move into quantum states, you can pull things out of quantum realm. And I believe that information is the thing that you're pulling out of it, not just present information, but future information. So that deja vu is actually something that does take place because it's there. I don't think it's a safe place. So I put all of my dark angels and demons there. I put my gods and goddesses there. And so if you're capable, I have my main character is an artist who dreams, and when he goes into his dreams, he can create whatever he wants. But he's starting to recognize that in some of his dreams, they're actually taking place, and he's being led to a next stage, essentially. He's trying to find his wife and daughter, knows they're out there, knows they're alive, needs to find them, and is breaking every law possible to go do that. But he's also being guided. And while he's sleeping and dreaming, he is not necessarily understanding what he's pulling into his brain, but he is pulling the future into his mind. And then he's seeking out that future. So that said, because dark things could also be in the bridge, he and anybody else who has contact with this ability would need to really have discernment on what it is that they want to pull out of it. And so that is the premise and layout for each of the pieces when it comes to what red represents, what green represents, and what blue represents in all of the work, and how it connects to my book and how my book connects back to the art. And how most people don't know how to play a very, very old game. But now you know not to get captured, or maybe you want to, I don't know. Any questions, because I know somebody might have a question. And when I teach business and entrepreneurship now. And so 25 years of teaching art, got away from that just so I could make art, which sounds weird. And now I'm teaching business and innovation, and in those classes we're teaching people how to pitch, how to present, how to get in front of people. Remember when you were in high school and how great you were at getting in front of people and letting them know what your ideas were. But in the end, when we're done, I make sure that the audience my students have been listening, and the way that they can share and show that they're listening is by having good questions. So, give me at least 3 good questions.